Now we are going to learn how to position parts in an assembly. But first, if you would like to work along with me, go into your Working Files folder and open these three part files: the U-bracket, pin, and square block. To begin, we need to first create a new assembly. So I am going to go to the File drop-down menu and select Make Assembly from Part. The Begin Assembly Property Manager opens. I'll select U-bracket and then pick a point on the screen. Now once the U-bracket is placed on the screen, we now need to insert a second component. I'll select Insert Component, and then this time I'll choose Square Block. Now just place a square block in any random location in the graphics area. Now we're ready to talk about positioning the parts. We do that with two commands: the Move Component command and the Rotate Component command. We'll begin with Move Component. Notice the Move Component Property Manager opens, and currently it is at free drag. That means I can move the square block in all directions. Now if I close out of the Move Component command, and then I go back into it and try to move the U-bracket, I'll receive a message stating the component is fixed and it cannot be moved. Now why is that? First, I'll close out of the Move command. Let's take a look at the Feature Manager design tree. Notice the U-bracket has a letter F inside of parentheses, and the square block has a dash inside of the parentheses. The first component you insert into a new assembly is fixed by default, which means it cannot move. So that's why we can't move the U-bracket. Now if you do want to move the U-bracket, you simply right mouse click on the U-bracket and select Float. Float is the opposite of fixed. Once I select Float, notice we see the dash sign. If I go to Move Component, now I can move the U-bracket. Let's go ahead and close out of Move Component, and then go back into it one more time. This time, let's move the square block. And instead of using free drag, let's look at some of the options we have. Along Assembly XYZ. So we're moving it along the Y-axis, X, and Z. We also have the option to move along an entity. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this window, select an edge, and notice we can move along that entity. We also have a couple more options for move by a delta XYZ and to an XYZ position. Now let's take a look at Rotate Component. Once again, it defaults to free drag. It allows me to freely rotate the component. Other options are About Entity. So if I select this edge here, notice how I can rotate it. And my last option is by delta XYZ. So there's a couple ways that you can move and rotate a component. Along with these two commands in the assembly ribbon, we can simply move a component by depressing the left mouse button. Or, if we depress the right mouse button, we can rotate the component. So left mouse will move, right mouse will rotate.